Okay, right guys. Well, I've been working on some 3D prints and I've sort of placed all the prints that I've done on this Alphawise 3D printer right next to me here. And basically, I do love this print, even though people say the quality is not as good. But for now, it is the best thing ever. I do like it. The 3D benchy that I did first as the first print in one of my earlier videos, I actually got my children to color it in, and this is the 3D benchy, and they've literally colored this in with using metallic pens, which I have here in front of me. These are the metallic pens that I use to color these 3D benchy in. So it's very good in that sense. I mean, if you look at the quality, it is pretty neat quality, and I do love this 3D benchy as well. So that's that one. I'll show you all the other 3D prints I've done. That's the benchy, one of my first prints. The second print was a pair of owls. That was the standard file that they supplied to me, and it's still on its raft, I believe that is. And I haven't removed it so that it will stand better together in that way. And I'd rather leave it where it is, so it looks much better as well as a base. And that's the two owls together. They did shift on the y-axis slightly here. You'll probably notice it if you look very closely. There's a bit of a shift at the back there that you can see, and I don't know why that happened. There's a bit of a shift at the top as well. I don't know why that happened there, but they only supplied the G-code files, so I can't really tell from the G-code file very clearly as to what's happening. It might be something that happened during the conversion from STL to G-code, but this is very good print as well. Again, my children colored that in using the metallic pens, and it really looks cool when you color it in. Once you color these things in, once they're printed and colored in, very cool. Okay, that's that one. That was one of my second prints. After that, I started designing my own prints, and when I started designing, the most basic thing I wanted to design was a keychain. And I started with my keychain, a personalized keychain, a Batman symbol keychain. The thing that went wrong with this, as you can see, it missed a letter out with my name in the middle there. So I had multiple attempts at this. The designing was done in Tinkercad. It was designed very easily and quickly in Tinkercad. What I did was I created a Batman symbol in Fireworks as an image, and then I imported that image into Tinkercad, and basically I increased it into the Z-axis, so lifted the image up like that way in the Z-axis, and it basically created this bat symbol. And I put a keyhole in there at the top, as you can see, so that you can use it as a keychain. That was one of the mistakes that happened. A letter missed out. What I did after that, went back to my drawing, had a look why it missed the letter out, and I managed to fix that. When I fixed that, ended up having a keychain on my keys, as you can see, with my name fully attached and with all the letters there very clearly visible on the keychain. So, and it is very good print, both sides. There you go. And I do love it. In fact, I loved it so much so that I even created a keychain for my son as well. That was one of the other one. Taking the same principle and same concept of the bat symbol, I basically took this symbol and created a glow-in-the-dark version of the bat symbol fridge magnet. And you can, if I put this very closely, you can see the two fridge magnets on either end. They're not my thumbs. I'm holding it up with the fingers only. If you can see the two round magnets, they're neodymium magnets, and they're very powerful. But when they're encased in this plastic, they seem to be lacking that bit of a magnetic power on these magnets. They are very small though, but you can see they're magnetic, and because they're encased inside the print itself, you can see that there is no magnet showing outside, but it's encased literally inside, and it does lift using a magnetic it is magnet there. So the two magnets do hold this up onto the fridge that I have at home, and this is one of my very good prints. However, again, when I stopped the printer in the middle to place the magnets inside, what happened was the magnets actually kept sticking to the nozzle when it started to move. So what I had to do was use glue to stick the magnets inside the print itself, and once they're stuck, I can switch the printer on and it finished the rest of the print. However, when I did that, it did shift on the y-axis slightly, and I have a bit of a shift there, which is noticeable on the bat symbol itself. And it's very, if we look very closely, it is noticeable, the shift on there. I don't know why that seems to happen. When I turn it off and turn it on, sometimes it happens, other times it does really well and continues the print very smoothly and very efficiently. So that's the bat symbol. I'm just going to place it across there. Once I did those, I sort of started designing other things like ornaments and things. I have an elephant ornament here. I'm trying to see if I can hold them all together. And basically there's the two pieces. There were 4 pieces altogether, and they actually fit in very neatly shaped. Again, if I just turn the angle of the camera there, again, it is very good in the sense that, again, what I did was design this in Fireworks. I drew the elephants in Fireworks and then lifted the whole shape into Tinkercad into the Z-axis and created these elephants, and they've actually fit very good together. I printed them in gold and silver using gold and silver filament, so they're actually quite different with the, and they are personalized, so they have the names in them, and these are the elephants with our names, and it's like a family of elephants basically, and that's what it represents as an ornament. And they connect together in a certain way, and you'll see the image of this on the download section as well. So you can download the STL file and you can modify the actual names for yourself. And this is one of my favorites when I started designing. It did take me a bit of time, but initially, I mean, I'm not used to 3D drawing and 3D packages. I've never used them before, and this is the first time I'm using them. So I'm starting off very easy projects at the start, trying to adapt to 3D drawing itself. Once I adapt, I'm going to try and create more complex things. However, with the elephants, there was a bit of stringing underneath there and there. I haven't cleared that up. You might be able to pick up a bit of stringing, as you can see there, and I haven't actually managed to clear all that up. The easiest way to clear it up is with a heat gun, and try and use a low heat gun, so they will just literally disappear off there. I'm still waiting to buy myself a lower heat gun. I bought a 2000 watt heat gun and it seems to melt away the PLA very easily and quickly, so I'm not going to use that. I'm going to try and get a lower power heat gun so that it won't melt that away. But when I was printing the elephants, I had a bit of a glitch, and the glitch was when I printed the elephants, that's the inside infill, that's triangular infill, and this is what it looks like within the elephants. It's basically hollow with a 20% infill, and this is how the small elephant would have appeared once it's finished print, and inside it's like that. But when I had the glitch, as you can see on the y-axis again, I had these sort of lines coming across, and it was really annoying. It took me a lot of time to figure out what went wrong, and what I actually at the time I was like furious, and I was like, oh my god, I don't know how to solve this. And basically what happened was I had a look very closely, tried to eliminate things, and one of the things was I put dampeners on my stepper motors and everything. I took them off one by one. I tried everything there, took the whole thing apart, I put it back on, and without the dampeners it was still doing this. And what actually did happen was it was very easy and very simple to solve. It's not the 3D printer's mistake at all. It's how you treat the print itself. When I was printing, what I did, I slowed the print down. The 3D printer actually was printing at a pace that was unacceptable for this to be printed, and you get these sort of lines. So if you get these lines, don't worry too much about these. And on the Z-axis, what you need to do is you basically, if you slow the print down enough, you will get a very smooth surface type like this on your actual final prints. You have to slow these prints down. And to me, I want these things done quite quickly as well, and it is not possible. It simply isn't possible to do these very quickly. So you have to slow the prints down to be able to get a quality print. And that was a very simple solution which I managed to do. I mean, there was a matter control bot that I did. Again, these had streaks, lines and stuff, and I didn't realize that I had to slow the prints down. But if you slow the print down, it will you will get a much finer quality print, and you won't get these lines going across in your Z-axis. The way to slow it down, even if you haven't managed to slow it down in the software itself, what you need to do is you need to go onto your touchscreen menu whilst it's printing, and when it's printed its first layer or the second layer, you will be able to slow it down. You have to just go to the print itself and set the print speed down to from 100% down to like 60% or 50%, and it will work. So it is one of the things that will work very well. There's another print that I did in matter control. This was designed entirely in matter control, and the G-code file also created in matter control. It was something that I was just playing around with, and very quickly created a man toy object type thing with the eyes, eyebrows, nose, hands and feet. And it was very difficult. The first time I did this, what happened was there was a lot of infill between the legs and everywhere to able to support these arms and everything, and it took me literally an hour plus just to remove the infill. And the type of infill I used was wrong. It was a grid infill on matter control. Do not use grid infill on matter control. Always use lines infill, and it is something that I will show you on matter control when I do the video about how to use matter control for your printer. If you use grid infill, it will literally block this, and you will spend hours trying to remove the infill from the object itself, and it's painstaking hard work. So do not ever make that mistake on matter control. I will show you when I do a video on matter control. I will show you how to do that. Then after that, I started designing other objects. I saw this object on Thingiverse, and I saw these Fishbones. If you can see, they move and flex. This is printed in place on my 3D printer. I was absolutely amazed at this articulated Fishbones thing, and it is very nice in terms of the way it moves, it flexes, and it is literally printed in place. People won't believe this. On your 3D printer you could do this, and I couldn't simply believe it. I did multiple attempts on this fish as well. It did about 2-3 attempts, and I couldn't get it to work, and like on the 4th or the 5th attempt this happened. I was absolutely amazed with it when it started flexing and everything. It's one of the things that inspired me to create other things, and I will show you the things that I've created as well. One of the things that I've created is this bus. Again, this bus was printed in PLA, and with the wheels printed in place, and the bus has been colored in, as you can see. Okay, but if you can see the wheels at the bottom, they do move. They sort of roll. If I just move the bus around, there we go. I'm just holding the wheels, and you can see the wheels roll. You can probably hear a bit of a click, and that's the part that held the wheels together whilst it was printing, and you have to break that part off when you take this off the heat bed. Once you take it off, you need to make sure you turn these wheels and break off anything that's holding the wheels together. And once you've done that, these wheels do turn. They're not as good, and they're not as they don't move as freely as I'm expecting them to. So I have come up with a different solution to this. And when I make another toy car or a toy bus, I'm going to use the principle that I've used in one of the objects that I'm going to show you right now for the wheels, and the way the wheels should function on a vehicle. And this is one of the printed in place things that I've done, a bus, and it is very good. I do like it. It's a very small item, but it's one of the things that once you get right, you can print a larger version of it, and it's easier to print a small item and try and see how well it moves and how well it functions. The next thing I printed, inspired by the fish again, is this Rubik's Cube, a 1x1x3 Rubik's Cube, again coloured in using metallic pens on all the sides. And as you can see, it's very easily moved, and I can move these very easily. Again, this was printed in place. I didn't click fit anything in, and once it was printed in place, I just had to snap them free, and they just started working, and it is very easy to move. There's literally 1 millimeter gap between these cubes, and when you print them, that 1 millimeter gap allows you to break them free. And also, it's a ball and socket join. The thing I've used in here in the Rubik's Cube is a ball and socket join. If I slightly pull them apart, you might see the socket light going through, and the ball and socket join. One side is a socket, the other side is a ball, and it just you leave them as 1 millimeter apart, and it's literally sits inside the ball, sits inside the socket, and it will print exactly as it is. And then you can easily manipulate this, and once it's printed, you just break them free, and it's very easy to move. They move freely. And this is one thing that says to me that I should have designed a ball and socket thing for the wheels on the bus. And if I would have designed the ball and socket wheels on either side, the wheels would have turned independently as opposed together. But what would have happened was they would have moved more freely with a ball and socket join. So it's a Rubik's Cube, again, very good, easy print to do. And it's one of the things that I designed in Tinkercad and got it to work very easily, very quickly. The bus was designed also in Tinkercad, and the G-code files were every objects that I've done, most of their G-code files were done in Matter Control. It was much easier, and the Matter Control G-code files worked a lot better with my Alpha Ys without making too many changes to the environment of Matter Control. And that's why I sort of took to Matter Control to produce my G-code files. Initially, I started on Cura. What happened with the Cura files were they weren't giving me the quality of prints I was getting with Matter Control. And maybe it's the settings that I need to configure very easily, but it's something that it's a learning curve for me. For now, I want to make use of my printer straight away, and the key thing is a piece of software that's going to allow me to do that very quickly, and to do it with Alpha Y's printer was Matter Control, and that's what I used to be able to start my prints very quickly, efficiently. Cura had a lot of settings, and it was very difficult for me to get those settings right. With Matter Control, the default settings literally worked so well for Alpha Ys that I just started using them as they were. The only bit of thing that I set on Matter Control was the infill, and you need to configure that. It's purely through learning, because the grid infill was taking a bit too much time for it to break off, and I started using lines infill. And then the nation's favorite, George Pig. Basically, again, I drew this in Fireworks from scratch. Once I drew this in Fireworks, George Pig, I did this in two things: Microsoft 3D Builder and Matter Control. Basically, the base that you see here is designed in Microsoft 3D Builder, most of the base, and the bit that the face and the 3D things, the mouth, the eyes and everything that you see, was designed in Matter Control. Once I imported the image in Matter Control, this is the sort of 3D face that I had. However, I didn't have the backing for the face, so I had to merge the two files together. When I merged the two files together, I came up with this George Pig in 3D, and it is very good object. That it's nation's favorite cartoon as well, so it is something that I love, this George Pig thing character. Again, I colored this using metallic pens to give it that vibrant George Pig feel and color of the cartoon that we have. This print actually went wrong the first time round. It was my mistake, and it was a very simple mistake. Here's the thing that went wrong with it, and this is basically a 20% infill that you can see on its belly, and on the face there'll be a 20% infill with the triangular infill like that. Again, in the frog as well, you may see closely 20% infill, but that's what went wrong with it. Basically, it printed quite a lot of it there, and what happened was I stopped the print because I had to go out somewhere. When I stopped the print and I came back, the print offset itself by a considerable amount, so it shifted in the, I believe, x-axis, and it shifted in the x-axis that way, and the print started to print way off, like over half a millimeter. Not half a millimeter, half a centimeter. It literally started printing 5 millimeters off where it should be in terms of positioning. It has power cut resume on, which means it's supposed to start where it's meant to. When I cut the power and I started it, it seemed to shift by 5 millimeters, and I had to restart that print again. Okay, so it's running low on battery, so I'm just going to plug that in. Okay, so that was George Pig, and that was my final print. So I do love these 3D prints, the quality prints. There is a bit of thing with, but with FDM printers, this is as good as you're going to get. Fused dispositional modeling, and so it's something that I really like. It is. I will be working on other projects, and I will be showing you them on my website, on my YouTube channel, and you can download these STL files from my website. Please make sure you set like to it. Oh, here's another small robot that I printed earlier. This is a very low quality print of a robot, and it's a very small robot as well, but again, it's been colored in silver all the way around, and it's okay, but it's one of the earlier prints on the thing. Okay, so have a look at my STL files. You can download, you can modify, tweak them yourselves, and try and print your own versions of the things, and they're all free on my website, so have a look at that. I have done some modifications to my printer as well. I've done 3D prints for my printer back casing for the cover screens, which I will do in my next video, and I will show you that in my next video. Thanks. Later.